Okay, so in this video we will talk about how we can exploit a secure system, a system that do not have any vulnerabilities. So in the lecture or in the class we have seen that how we can exploit a system that has already some vulnerabilities in it. The vulnerabilities may be in the software or in the misconfiguration or in some services that the system is using. We exploit those vulnerabilities. So what if we have a system that is secure and we were unable to find any vulnerabilities in those systems? So we have to create a vulnerabilities for that system. The only problem in this type of setting is that we have to execute the file on the target machine so that we can run an exploitation on that machine. So to do this we use a well-known tool which is MSFvenom to create a vulnerability. But before we create a vulnerability, I want to remind you that to execute this vulnerability on a target machine, let's say on Windows 10 or Windows 11, you have to disable the Defender, Windows Defender, or antivirus that is running on this target machine. Why we are doing this? Because the software or the technique we are using to create the vulnerability is well known. Many viruses, Windows Defender know how the vulnerabilities or know the signature of the virus or the vulnerabilities, so it can easily detect or disable your file. So to execute the file on the target machine, you have to disable the antivirus and the Windows Defender. Okay, I'm not going to execute the vulnerabilities in this video. I'm just show you how to create a vulnerability and how you can gain access to the target machine. Okay, so before I start, I first change my directory to desktop so that the file I created will be automatically pasted on my desktop. So to use MSFvenom, I use this command MSFvenom -h. It will show me the different options I can use to create the vulnerability. Okay, along this it has also shown me the example which you can use to target these vulnerabilities or to create these vulnerabilities. Or the syntax for VSFvenom is user/bin VSFvenom. You can just write VFSvenom. This tool is already in the Metasploit framework, so you do not have to install any special software for this. Then -p is your payload. Then this is the type of vulnerabilities or the payload you are creating. It's a metapreter and you are creating a reverse TCP, so that once the user or the victim will double click or execute this file, it will create a reverse connection to your metapreter. Okay, then you have to give some setting for your reverse TCP, the localhost IP and the localhost port. Then -f mean this is an executable file, exe file, and -o mean output. You can also find the description of these options over here. Okay, so let me clear the screen. So what you have to do, you have to write to create a vulnerability, or you can say that now we are creating a Trojan or a payload. So you have to write MSFvenom. Then remember we have -p. P is for payload, and we are creating a metapreter reverse TCP. So it's a reverse shell binding. Okay, last time we learned in the lecture or in the class that what is the difference between a bind shell and the reverse bind shells. In the reverse bind shell, the client or the target machine will create a connection to our machine, the attacker machine. Okay, then you have to give LHOST, it is LHOST, which is 192.168.23.120. This IP is my Linux IP. You can check it from here. So this is the same IP which I have given in my MSFvenom 192.168.23.129. okay. Now the client will make a connection on this IP, and along this I will also have to give the port name. Okay, I'm giving a default port 5555. You can give any higher port. Then you have to write -f mean it is an executable file, exe file. -o mean the output or the name of the file is shell.exe. okay. If you press enter, the MSFvenom will create an exe file, a payload file, or a Trojan that will execute on the target machine. okay. So this is my Trojan. okay, it's very easy. It's a single line command. You just have to write the command MSFvenom, then -p is a payload, then the target machine, the interpreter, and the reverse TCP, then the IP address of your machine and the port of your machine, then is an executable file and the name of the file. okay, what you have to do, you have to copy this file on a USB or bind this file in an email address and send to the victim. Once the victim will double click on this Trojan, then that machine will create a reverse connection or a reverse bind connection to your machine, to your Kali Linux. okay. So remember that in the lecture we have discussed that to do a reverse TCP or a reverse connection, reverse binding, you have to create a handler which will listen to the incoming connection. okay. To perform a reverse handler, or to create a handler that will listen to this incoming connection generated from this shell file or this malware, you have to go to MSF console. okay. And one another thing to show this is actually a file. I will go to a website which is called VirusTotal. It will identify the or to identify whether the submitted file is a malware or it's a clean file. okay. VirusTotal. okay, you have to choose a file. The file is in my desktop, and then confirm upload. okay, now it will scan the file and match the signature to those file which is already submitted by the malware or the persons or other persons who have flagged this file as a malware. Now see, out of 69 users, it is still analyzing. It will take some time. Before it finish, I will show you how to create a handler, listener handler in an MSF console. So over here you will use exploit /multi handler. okay. It has user configuration payload generic reversal. Now remember that in Metasploitable we use show options. It is using a generic reverse TCP shell. We have to change it to match this binding. okay, to this options. okay, so you can use show payloads. It will show tons of payload. over here it has used payload Windows x64, then you have bind TCP. Over here you have a reverse TCP, payload Windows Metasploit. Copy this, because this is the payload, or this is the payload we have used to generate this Trojan or this vulnerability. Okay, you have to use set payload. Now the payload is set, so now the payload is changed, it's Windows Metasploit reverse TCP. All you have to do is to set LHOST. Set LHOST, localhost is 192.168.23.129. okay, and remember that we have set the port to 5555. okay, options. Okay, we have set the payload, we have set the host and the port. Okay, now all we have to do is run this handler. Now this machine, this Kali Linux machine, is listening for a TCP handler, any connection made from any machine to this my Kali Linux. Okay, now if any Windows machine, because this payload is created for Windows, any Windows machine double click on this file, it will make a reverse connection to my Kali Linux over here. Okay, it will capture the shell of this Windows. Okay, I cannot do this because I have to make a Windows VM and then execute this file. Maybe in next video I will try to perform this activity, but for now you just need to understand how this MSFvenom execute, run, then how the handler is used to listen for the incoming connection from this malware you have created. Okay, thank you. I will see you again in the next video.